All right. And that is where the conversation begins right now. So, Honorable Geoffrey Mulanya is here, Member of Parliament for Nambale. Honorable Murigi Kamande, Advocate of the High Court, is also here with us in the next few minutes. Honorable Florence Jematia, Women Rep for Baringo, has also joined in the conversation. That's where we're going to start this conversation on the state of the nation, on whether the government has failed or not. DAP-K says that they have failed in achieving their promises in the first 100 days. We'll find out whether that is true. We'll also talk about the Cherera 4. Has that issue been handled properly? Now, Masit, here on the front page of the Standard, says that she will drop a bombshell very soon. And then we'll talk about the constitutional amendment. That is what the DAP Kenya guys have talked about in just a few minutes. We'd like to hear your views. At Trevor Mbiji at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Daybreak. Honorable Mulanya, I'll start with you on this. Do you agree with DAP-K that the government has failed in the first 100 days and have now shifted their priority to other things?
Thank you, Trevor. Personally, I don't believe that the president has failed to deliver the promise of in the first 100 days. We must first of all realize that from the time the president was sworn in, there have been challenges, especially constituting its government. You know that immediately after having cabinet secretaries, the next step was to create, to appoint the principal secretaries. And then there was a hurdle. There was a court case that stopped the whole process. And you know, these are the principal secretary are the key personnel to manage ministries. And the president is not just managing this country alone. He has people to assist him through the ministries, as I've said. So he's still crafting his government. So I believe that he should be given time to, first of all, craft his government so that these people, through the ministry, can help him achieve his promise that he promised Kenyans. So what
informed that move?
No, Trevor. You know, I met the president-elect at the time. He was not, he hadn't been sworn in. And I was not shifting any kind, because being an independent, you don't belong to any side. And this is the person now going to form the government. You must try and see the agenda they have, so that you also, where you feel that this agenda will help Kenyans, you must also join the team and say that, okay, for the benefit of the people of Nambale who elected me, let's see what we can work together for the achievement of, for the betterment of our people.
Yeah.
That was the driving goal, nothing else, because I haven't said that I've joined any party. I'm still independent. It was just an issue that, you know, the problem in Africa, Trevor, is that sometimes we feel that when someone has been elected in government, we must fight that person. The agenda the President Ruto has is the agenda of the people of Nambale, is the agenda of people of Rarieda, is the agenda of people of Mombasa and any other part. So if President Ruto fails, we all fail. If he has universal health that he's trying to push for Kenyans, he's pushing for the whole country. So if I say that now my work is going to critique him straight away before I even see what is there in store, then I'm failing the people of Nambale.
Shouldn't you have waited first to see whether he's actually keeping his promises before you pledge allegiance to that side? Because your role is partly legislation and oversight.
Yes, but
saying there was no need to fight them, yes, and I agree, but still, shouldn't you have seen whether they've actually kept their dream or their promises fast?
So that I say, for the people of Nambale, so as you craft your agenda, consider the Nambale constituency will have these problems. Okay. So if I'm said fence-sitting, am I helping the people of Nambale really? Yes.
Honorable Jematia, do you agree with what DAP Kenya is alleging, that the president has not kept his promise in 100 days?
Thank you so much, Trevor, and good morning again, Kenyans. I want to say I don't know where the DAP leaders are getting this from, and what promises that the president announced have not, I mean, it is barely 100 days, and sometimes when you want to judge somebody or something, you have to also give a background on why. Listening to what these leaders are alluding is that the president should have acted like a miracle, God in a way, that immediately he's being sworn in, he should be flying all over the place and making sure food is on everyone's table. There is, rains. What the president is trying to do is and when you're given a fruitful, bumper harvesting in the future, as much as Kenya is so much dependent on rain, he has also traversed the world in terms of diplomacy, and that alone has given confidence to this country that we have a president that is alive to reality, that this country must be pushed forward to work and produce enough and feed itself. We have had him talk all the time. He addressed the nation, and you could read his mind is that he's willing and ready to help the country to develop. So I don't know where the judgment of these members come from, because we have a lot of confidence as Kenya Kwanza.
Well, they're basing this on arguments such as the cost of living is still high, the subsidies were removed, and also now we're talking about constitutional amendments, something the government said they will not be considering. That was not a priority. All of a sudden it's a priority. Exactly,
but we are achieving the GAM as we work, because when you say cost of living, we found cost of living has been quite tough in the world since the time of Corona. And I believe no one, even if it's not President Ruto, anyone else could not do much about it. But we also give time, like any other human being. When you go to the farm and put your plants or seeds on the floor, you have the knowledge that this cannot you cannot wake up in the morning and get it ready. So it is a process. And it is what we also have to internalize as Kenyans, that as much as we really wish things to happen very fast, the president cannot, for instance, cause rains to rain. I mean, those are the things that is now, like the drought that is affecting this country. And we have a lot of loss of animals and all those. So because this is not human intentions, these are nature calamities. And those are the things that contribute so much. Like the climate change, for instance, has contributed so much to this. And it's not only Kenya. And I believe we pray so hard that the rains starts raining, and we will see things happening and positive things.
Honorable Jamante, there are some direct promises that were made.
Yep.
For example, 50% of cabinet for women. Was that achieved?
Okay. That one was not achieved.
Okay.
But we have an amendment coming into Parliament that is going to probably cure that. And to that agenda, for instance, is one of the things that is on our table, that we have to look at it. And to that, the principle of to that agenda in government, and especially in cabinet, was not realized. And I believe, but it was not so bad. If you look at the numbers in cabinet, for instance, it was not so bad, probably a shy of 2 or 3 difference. But I believe with a little push, we were going to have it achieved in the future. Yes.
All right. Murigi?
Progress.
On DAP's allegation. In fact, there's a direct one that the judiciary is dancing to, the executive.
You see, the unfortunate thing is that during campaign time, we are treated to so much rhetoric, and people take it as facts. And one thing I believe is that those promises that are made, that we are going to achieve A, B, C, D in 100 days, it's just rhetoric, just that. It is not anything achievable. It is just meant to excite people so that they vote for them. I'll give you an example. For example, I remember when the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, was saying that by the end of that, the only thing that is preventing us from lowering the cost of living is the ongoing court case at the Supreme Court. Yeah, you see, basically those are things that you are trying to justify or trying to dismiss a process that is ongoing, and trying to give people false hope which is not there. So basically what I will say, and I would agree with the DAP Kenya, is those 100 days, and you can get a marking scheme. You can forward. But the reality is, within 100 days, a new administration, it's not possible to achieve some of these promises. Because basically, and I'll tell you, that within 90 days, basically 100 days is 3 months. You have to put in place your cabinet. You have to have your permanent secretaries. You also have a third, I don't know whether it is now a third tier or a second tier of government, that is the CAS. At the same time, you have to streamline the parastatals or the state agencies with your agenda, so that at least you can try and move those bits. It is not possible. Yeah. But I'll say this: the problem we have with Kenyans is that during campaign trails we lie as politicians. With a straight face, we tell Kenyans we are going to lower the cost of living. We will ensure that the price of maize flour is going to drop to 100 shillings within within our first month in office, because those are pure lies that we treat our people.
But Commander, is it fair to call them pure lies? Because there are some that have been achieved. Yes. The Hustler Fund, for example, is there. Responsibility for the DP and the Prime Cabinet Secretaries, like he said, has been done. Appointment of judges has been done. Yes. Is it
no, I'm saying about realistic. You know, some things are realistic and others are unrealistic. For example, you cannot come in as a new administration and tell us that you are going to lower the cost of living within 100 days. Knowing so well that you've been opposing everything that has been done by that government in terms of subsidies, you come and remove those subsidies and say that you're not going to subsidize consumption, we are going to subsidize production. The essence is, how long does production take? Production won't take 90 days. If it is about production, you subsidize fertilizer, how long does a crop take? The crop will take 6 months, 9 months. There is no guarantee that during that period that there will be sufficient rains, that you will have built all those dams for purposes of irrigation. That's the reason why you realize at some point, in order now there was a knee-jerk reaction, in order now to forestall whatever we are seeing right now, and we do not have maize, let us import maize, which is going to be cheaper. Let's flood the market and see whether we are going to achieve what? You are going to lower the cost of maize flour. So I'm saying there are things which are realistic, others unrealistic, like appointment of judges. Yeah, basically that was a grudge that was there by the former president. It was something that you could do in the morning. You wake up, you gazette, you do not care, you just gazette it in the Kenya as they are sworn in. It is, some of them are achievable. But what we are saying is, as Kenyans, we need we need to stop this habit. If something is not achievable within 100 days, let us not try to excite the masses by telling them that you are going to achieve it within 100 days. You can tell them, for example, and I would be very realistic. Let's agree that within 6 months, you can have the short-term measures that are being taken by the government. That way, you will understand that we are at least towards a fifth of the government in office. So you can tell that there are specific measures being taken to achieve whatever they want to achieve. But 100 days is normally a pure lie, and I will tell you that.
Okay.
It is something you cannot achieve.